Okay, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. अल्लाह ताला बरकत डाले हमारे टाइम में हम इस टाइम पे जब इकट्ठे हुए हैं हम सबको इसका फ़ायदा हो वी बिकम बेटर मुस्लिम्स इंशाल्लाह सो लेट्स लुक एट हम कहाँ पहुँचे थे लास्ट टाइम हम कर रहे थे द क्राइसिस ऑफ डिस्कनेक्शन दैट्स व्हाट वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट राइट कि कितना डिस्कनेक्शन आ गया है in everything in society. It's disconnected. So this is creating a lot of consequences on all of us. And we looked at कि अगर हमें किसी चीज को सही करना है सोसाइटी में तो we have to start with ourselves. Right? We discussed this in our last session. Now you can look at the video. So यहाँ पे we were in हमारा course जो है Know Yourself. उसमें I think most of you are through that or in just about to complete it. तो Know Yourself पे भी there are some questions there, some things that we want clarification on. आप लोगों की तरफ से ये feedback आ रहा है कि ज़्यादा practice चाहिए, ज़्यादा हमें पता चले कि हम अपने खुद को कैसे एक बेटर पर्सन बनाएं, वो चीज़ें जो हमें पसंद नहीं हैं अपने में उसको कैसे सही किया जाए. सो ये सेशन हम शुरू कर रहे हैं विच वुड बी नो योर सेल्फ पार्ट 2 का वो जो पहले हो चुका है इट विल बी अ बिट हायर in level and it'll go deeper into things. So your pathway of self-mastery here, it's a map of how do you go through getting yourself to higher levels. तो सबसे पहले it is about self-awareness. Right? अगर हम self-aware होंगे ही नहीं तो we can't really do anything with it. And then we go into self-discovery of all the things. What is it in us? हम पहले spot तो करें ये चीजें out हैं फिर हम discover करें क्यों हैं. And then we have to actually be really in love with improving ourselves. And ourselves, when we say ourselves, it means inclusive of everything around us. Because the planet and the families and society, they're all ours. So to love ourselves is to also love them. And that kind of discovery and humanity needs to be brought in us. And that then leads us to self-mastery, where we actually are able to work at the potential जो अल्लाह ताला ने हमें दिया है. We are very much acting at potential, बहुत limited है. We have so much and we haven't realized it. And that's our journey together. So how do you begin this journey? A lot of people have a problem on that. Even though we have started the course, Know Yourself, उनको दिक्कत हो रही है देखने में कि कोई उनमें outness है भी या नहीं है. They find it very hard to do that. So how do you open this shut door? We are going to look at these 3 questions today. How do you begin this journey? How do you open this shut door? Why does हम खोल भी लेते हैं अवेयर भी हो जाते हैं तो उसको वो जल्दी से उसको बंद भी कर देते हैं. So that again needs to be explored, that why do we do that? How can we not do that and rise up the spiritual ladder? So last time we covered this ayat 17 surah, ayat 13. Allah Ta'ala says, and we have fastened every man's deeds to his neck. And on the day of resurrection, we shall bring out for him a book, which he will find wide open. So इसमें जो man का लफ्ज use हुआ है वो इंसान है. And we were looking at, how beautiful is the meaning of insan in Arabic, looking at the root of it and seeing हम उस पे पहुंच रहे हैं कि नहीं पहुंच रहे. It's a question we need to ask ourselves. So it's to become sociable. It's to become companionable, conversable. And we have to question ourselves कि हम उस level पे हैं या नहीं हैं. Inclined to company or conversations. A lot of society is just divided, doesn't want to see anybody. हम अपने छोटे छोटे island बनाते हैं, family unit बनाते हैं, फिर बाहर और है. We are not really sociable anymore. Friendly, amicable, familiar, to become cheered, happy, cheerful. That's what insan means. And that is the mood and the attitude we should have. To become at ease or tranquil. How many of us are at peace? So that is, again, we are aiming towards that without shrinking or aversion. That would be also the meaning of insan. We're not shrinking away from anything or averting from, चाहे बुरी चीज भी है, हम उसको courageously देख रहे हैं, उसकी responsibility ले रहे हैं. So that is what we are aiming for. So last time का जो talk था, it was about crisis of disconnection, and we looked at these 8 points के क्या हो गया, social evils क्या हैं, community खत्म हो गई है, individualism and selfishness is so common, and we are so much into consumerism. Values and morality have dropped. Family breakdown ho gaya hai. We are living under the same roof, but what comprises of a true family where we share and we grow spiritually, that has a long way to go. And inshallah, through our efforts, we will come to that ideal scene. You look at the youth crime rate, it's growing, and that's also due to these other factors. ड्रग्स एंड अल्कोहल अब्यूज भी उसी की वजह से बढ़ता है. पॉवर्टी एंड इनइक्वालिटी भी हम हद से ज़्यादा देखते हैं और उसको नॉर्मल समझते हैं. वी थिंक वी कांट डू एनीथिंग अबाउट इट, whereas each one of us, if we take on the responsibility, a lot of the situations in the world can inshallah be resolved. So when we look at these things, हम मीडिया को या बिग बिजनेस को या गवर्नमेंट को या रिलीजियस इंस्टीट्यूशंस को या एजुकेशन सिस्टम को, इनको हम ब्लेम कर देते हैं कि इनकी वजह से हुआ है. But that doesn't really solve anything, and all of us realize that कि हम इसको करके कुछ कहीं जाती नहीं बात. So we have to start with ourselves, and we have to we don't see the relationship between our actions and their meanings. There are a lot of things in culture that we follow. I think it's a season for weddings. तो आप देखिए कितना खर्चा उस पे होता है, weddings पे कितनी ceremonies होती हैं, and we don't actually see कि हम इन एक्शन से पीछे क्या है, what is the meaning behind all these things. Consumer अब इतनी चीजें खरीदते हैं, what is the meaning behind that? So there is a need for us to reflect on what we are doing. फिर हमें origins भी देखने चाहिए कि ये इस तरह से क्यों है. Why do we not have a community? Why are we not talking to our neighbors and making a community and taking care of each other? आप हमारे ग्रुप्स में देख लें, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स में देख लें, we don't find interaction there. Why is that? इतनी दफा रिक्वेस्ट भी करें, हम बोल भी रहे हैं कि डिस्कनेक्शन को हम नहीं चाहते, कनेक्शन होना चाहिए. But if one of us asks the questions, the others, do you find it's true what I'm saying? हम नहीं जवाब ही नहीं देते. What kind of manners is that? अगर हम खुद से चेंज होंगे तो then we can expect others to change. Tell me if I'm wrong on this, because I put a lot of things on WhatsApp hoping that I will get a response, and a few of you do answer. लेकिन मुझे बताएं, is it not the right medium to talk? मुझे भी educate करें आप. We'll do what you want. हमारे मकसद सबका यही है कि हम grow करें. So is it a good thing to ask questions and get everybody connected? आपकी स्टोरी होती है, आपकी सक्सेस होती है, हम पढ़ के उससे सीखते हैं. कोई क्वेश्चन होता है, कोई सिस्टर खाना डालें, सिस्टर शाजिया डालें, you start reflecting on it, उससे फायदा होता है. Even a thumbs up or a heart, it just shows somebody's listening out there. So otherwise we all go quiet and it goes back into disconnection. So बताएं सही है कि नहीं है कि हम WhatsApp पे we should be more interactive and answering. Should that be a way forward? What do you think?
Sister Neelam wants to ask a question. Sister Neelam, go ahead, पूछिए.
जी सिस्टर,
मुझे ये पूछना था, अभी आप कह रहे हैं डिस्कनेक्शन है और ये सारी चीजें हैं इस तरीके से, तो अब हम आंसर भी नहीं देते हैं ग्रुप्स में, बहुत सारे ग्रुप्स हैं. अब इतना ज्यादा इतना ज्यादा मटेरियल है, इतने सारे ग्रुप्स हैं, हर एक को ग्रुप देंगे, हर एक को ग्रुप में जवाब देंगे तो वो बहुत ज्यादा एक हैक्टिक हो जाता है. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, बच्चे हैं, फिर बच्चों का टाइम भी होता है, फिर इस तरीके से वो भी निग्लेक्ट होते हैं। हमें अगर मोबाइल में हर वक्त लाइक इतने सारे ग्रुप्स में हर एक को जवाब देंगे तो वो बहुत ज्यादा कैसे कहते हैं बोरिंग और बर्डन टाइप हो जाएगी चीज, इजंट लाइक थिंग। या एक ही मटेरियल भी बहुत ज्यादा कि समझ नहीं आता कंज्यूम कहाँ से करें,
I
क्या
think that's
करें।
major, Sister Neelam, that's where you've, saying the right thing. We are, we need to concentrate on हमारा purpose क्या है, and we need to focus somewhere. किसी चीज की तो priority होनी चाहिए in all those groups. Yeah, if this is not on priority, fine, that's okay. They can, when we are talking about our ummah not being in a right state and having to take more responsibility for the planet, for our homes, for our families, for making a home a better example of social unit जो replicate hope is society में, तो these areas too, I think they are important. So one has to prioritize किस group में करना चाहिए, किस में नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि आपके एक जवाब से दूसरा पर्सन भी इनकरेज हो जाता है. सो आई थिंक इट्स अप टू यू टू प्रायोरिटाइज जो चीज आपकी लाइफ में इम्पोर्टेंट है उसमें आप करें. एंड आई एम नॉट सेइंग एवरीबडी शुड आंसर एवरीथिंग, but it helps if there's some kind of participation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but the thing is, we all uh, talking about myself. I got the 3 kids जिनको look after करना है, उनकी सारी चीजें करनी है, और हम यूके में रहते हैं, तो पता है ना, भागम भाग लगी रहती है। ग्रोसरी भी करो, घर के सारे काम भी करो, ये भी करो, फिर अपने अपने काम के का भी करो, तो उसमें कहीं ना ये लैक रह जाता है। और दूसरा, जब ग्रुप में हम अगर प्रायोरिटाइज करें, तो अब ये देखो कि एक ही ग्रुप के साथ अटैच है। जैसे कि हम लोग, मैं जिस ग्रुप से हूँ, तो मुझे तो उसी ग्रुप में ये मिला है, लाइक आईएमएस के साथ हम अटैच हैं। अब उस आईएमएस में इतने सारे ग्रुप है, अब उनकी इतनी सारी मीटिंग्स होती हैं कि मुझ जैसा बंदा उसको भी नहीं देख पाता। अब ये टाइम जो है ना, ये 4 बजे से 6-7 बजे तक का टाइम, आई हैव टू बी मेक माई सेल्फ अवेलेबल फॉर माई किड्स,
I am.
अदरवाइज तो वो
You
उस तरीके
understand.
से बीइंग लाइक यहाँ पे रहते हुए अपने आप को हम किस तरह प्रायोरिटीज हम मैनेज कर सकते हैं। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है, लाइक हर एक की प्रायोरिटीज डिफरेंट है, हर एक की चोर्स डिफरेंट हैं, हर एक के लाइक लाइबिलिटीज डिफरेंट है, लेकिन आप किस तरह और हाँ, डिस्कनेक्शन से एक और बात मुझे याद आई है, इसको भी एड्रेस कीजिएगा। हम लोग यहाँ पे जो मैंने एक्सपीरियंस किया है, वी ओनली कनेक्ट जब हमें जरूरत होती है। लाइक I will contact you when I have a need. And if you want to connect me, I'm disconnected to you. This happened to me. अगर मैं सबके लिए अवेलेबल हूँ, लेकिन जब मुझे जरूरत पड़ी है तो मेरे लिए कोई अवेलेबल नहीं है। And
You're
that's the
absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Sister Neelam.
sorry.
यही चीजें हम एड्रेस कर रहे हैं.
Or this is the reason. Sorry to cut you. Apology. This is the reason. I was a very social person. Now I'm at the state. I'm an isolated person. मैं किसी से मिलना नहीं चाहती, मैं किसी से बात नहीं करना चाहती। क्यों? क्योंकि लोग जो हैं अपने मतलब के लिए यूज कर जाते हैं, और जब मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम आती है या मुझे रियली नीड होती है, एंड देन आई एम स्टैंडिंग अलोन। इफ आई एम स्टैंडिंग अलोन, व्हाई डू आई नीड द पीपल देन?
Yeah, okay. So I think that's what we are trying to change. यही exact चीज जो आप बोल रहे हो, Sister Neelam, we are trying to change that. And time का, everybody has an issue. That is the way life is at the moment. So that's why हमने online training की है, and a lot of the parents are, they are doing that. The online training जो अपने time में आप कर सकते हैं. And, we would encourage everyone to continue with that. It just helps if some few of us are sharing in the chats, तो आप पढ़ लेते हो, and it's okay. If you can put a thumbs up or, say disagree, whatever, it will simplify things. अब, the disconnection का वीडियो है वो देख लें, जो पहले वाला है, Sister Shazia can give it to you. So inshallah that will also clarify things. We go into more detail. ये तो मैं बहुत summary में जा रही हूँ. And जो आपने point raise किए हैं वो वहाँ पे covered हैं कि हम एक दूसरे से connect ही अपने purpose के लिए होते हैं. We are not really interested in the other person, और ये कैसी society बन गई है, and we need to change this around. So let's move forward and say we don't examine the origins of why we act the way we act. And we interactions of groups पे यहाँ पे Western views हमने क्यों अपना लिए हैं? Why are we away from spiritualism? हम इतने busy क्यों हैं life में? And why are we lowering the priority of growing as a spiritual being? And the third point we talked about was we don't think through implications of our actions on ourselves and others in the world. तो बहुत short term की thinking होती है, उसी वक्त हमें result चाहिए होता है, effort हम minimum चाह रहे हैं, and we're sort of look at even at the working day, जो आप भी describe कर रहे हैं, Sister Neema, it's quite a hectic life. There's a lot of load on everybody. And why is it like that? It doesn't need to be like that. And we need to be questioning those things. Why is the working day so long कि हम इतने थक जाते हैं कि उसके बाद कुछ कर ही नहीं सकते. Not even can we give attention to our own family, to ourselves. And it is something we should be bringing change in. We should have time. It's our life. We become slaves to our jobs and our way of living. So इस चीज पे गौर करेंगे, and inshallah things are changing. The COVID से भी बहुत realizations हुई. So inshallah we'll proceed with that and bring about that change. So last time we were talking about के post में और उसके purpose में बहुत disconnection आ गया असल purpose में. So we looked at all these fields के lawyer or justice में connection नहीं है. It's more about winning cases, and all through this we went through this. So we said that everything is connected. Nothing in this world stands on its own. It's all connected. So where does the change begin? What do you think? Where does the change begin? There's no field. आप यूनिवर्सिटी के सब्जेक्ट्स भी देखें, वो अलग से खड़े नहीं होते, वो दूसरे से कनेक्ट होते हैं. लेकिन वो इतनी उसको डिवाइड कर दिया है that connection between those people is also not there, whereas everything in the world is connected. So where does it start? Yeah, that's right. It does start from ourselves. And how do we influence ourselves? We influence others. How do we influence others? By improving ourselves. We have to focus on that. And we covered this in our Know Yourself course part 2, जिसमें आयत 91 का 9 और 10 है, जिसमें truly successful is he who purified it, and truly a failure is he who corrupted it. So impurity and purity, आपसे question है, is that a fact of life? Is it a fact of life कि impurity भी होगी हम में और purity भी आएगी? Is that a fact of life? या हमें हर वक्त ही purity में रहना है? What do you think? What does the ayat tell you? कहाँ पे है? It's a fact of life, right? Do you agree with me कि हम आयत से पता चल रहा है कि सक्सेसफुल वो ही होगा जो प्यूरिफाई करेगा. इसका मतलब प्योरिटी तो होगी ना, तो प्यूरिफाई करेंगे. Life is about that and about recognizing that impurity. So ये parts हमने discuss किए हैं in Know Yourself, जो in order to a lot of us didn't know कि हम कौन हैं. And we went over this in the whole course. So it's a very short, easy course with quizzes in it and assignments. कि ये सारे parts हैं, and what causes us to be the way we are. If we get impure, to which part is taking control? Yeah. So which part is taking control? अगर हम, impure state में हैं, हम impure चीजें कर रहे हैं, तो कौन control कर रहा है? Which part?
हमारी ख्वाहिशात.
Mind.
Mind, yeah. Mind, it could be the body, The body could be controlling, your emotions could be controlling, your cult could be controlling, right? So only when we look at the soul do we say, okay, we are reaching towards the pure state. So that is the area that, the courses will help to understand, okay, what part needs to be controlling and who do we need to most focus on to correct all this disconnection in life. इस पे भी हमने last time बात की थी कि हमें अपने खुद पे करना है, right? And who do we want to help? Like we talk about, हमें family members से सबसे पहले होता है दिल को दर्द होता है if we are not able to help them, and when will they accept help from us? Especially as they grow up, it becomes more and more difficult to reach out to them. So that is the thing we are trying to solve, कि हमारी reach अपने family members, अपनी community, अपनी society पे कैसे हम influence कर सकते हैं. And that starts with हमें अपने खुद को पहले सही करना है. We have to be strong. We have to reach that potential to do that, right? And that's where we are looking at how do we bring that about. So we had in the ayat 14 or so, 87, he has certainly succeeded who purifies himself. So that is the whole goal of trying to get things better. And everything involves relationships. Do you agree with that? Everything involves relationships. और उस जैसे अभी सिस्टर ने कहना बोला कि you tend to use relationships. That's like अपना फायदा देख रहे हैं बजाय इसके कि हम क्या relationship is a way of giving something. It's a gift of God to actually contribute and help another person. And we need to elevate this relationship के area को हमें elevate करना है instead of making material things or whatever and using people to make material things. It's just gone the wrong way, right? So we need to reverse that priority which materialism has brought about. So what is true self? What is true self? When do you think you're in true self? And who is controlling? क्या करेंगे आप?
Yeah, you can please, raise your hand or up chat me. You want to type
Actually,
the
लिखें कि what is true self and who is in control when you're in true self. आपकी जो अल्लाह ताला ने आपको फितरत दी है उस पे आप हैं, तो who is in control? Yes, Sister Shazia Zaib is saying
Soul.
the soul is controlling, absolutely, yes. So how much of the time are you in true self? अगर आप अपने खुद से पूछें तो you can't really say कि मैं 9 बजे से 10 बजे तक true self में थी. It's like you go in and out quite a lot. We go in and out. वो impurity आती है फिर purity पे चले जाते हैं. And unless how much time do we give to ourselves for self-development is the only way we are going to handle this impurity. अगर आपके day में ये time slot नहीं है, so basically you are not going to develop yourself. You have to allocate time for that. And inshallah, things will, then you'll see them improving. So this was our homework for last time. And how did you find it? How was it? It was like you had to spot के outnesses किधर आ रही हैं. अच्छा हुआ, कोई शेयर करना चाहेगा अपना homework कैसा गया? You can raise your hand. Nobody did it? Nobody did it? Yeah, I did it. I think Sister Fana ने तो share भी किया था on the group. Sister Shazia, you did it?
मैं मुझसे पूछ रहे मैं वेट कर रही थी कि कोई और शेयर करना चाहे तो
हाँ.
वरना मैं तो
Sister Azra ने भी किया, Sister Shazia Zaib ने भी किया. That's good.
I did.
Sister Nikat ने भी किया, right? Okay. So what we are looking at now, we are going to go a little bit into it so that we can do it better, right? So हमने इस आयत में 30 सूरह 30 आयत 30 में अल्लाह ताला कह रहे हैं the fitrah of Allah upon which he has created इंसान, right? And then we also know कि हमें purify करना है खुद को, और failure जो है जब हम अपने खुद को corrupt कर लेते हैं, that is failure. So being impure, is that an issue? या हम expect कर रहे हैं ना कि हम होंगे impure, right? Is that right? हम impure होंगे, right? So what is the test? What is the test? हमारा टेस्ट क्या है? अल्लाह ताला, what is he testing us on? What is he testing us? वो सक्सेस और फेलियर बता रहे हैं तो किस चीज पे टेस्ट कर रहे हैं?
The one who is able to, identify his impurity and keep working
Yeah.
towards the purity. Yeah.
हाँ, impurity की recognition is your first step, right? Because the success Allah Ta'ala is saying is you purified it. So if we do not even recognize our impurity, तो उसको purity की तरफ लाना तो मुश्किल हो जाएगा. So our first step is to recognize the impurity, right? So what will prevent us from recognizing impurity in ourselves? इसको देखें. Right? We're going to look at a few things of what prevents us from looking at the impurity in ourselves. So pehla is an attitude of arrogance. Superior to arrogance क्या चीज़ है? अपने खुद को you think yourself better at something. I know everything. I know I'm senior to this person. I have more knowledge, or I have better this. They are not equivalent to me. They don't know as much, right? So this would be a way of arrogance. So, जी Sister Shazia.
मैम एरोगेंस पे मैं चाह रही थी थोड़ा सा डिटेल से बता दें. अगर हम क्वेश्चन करें अपनी ऑडियंस से कि कौन फील करता है कि वो दे फील इन themselves that they are arrogant, तो कौन हैंड रेज करेगा? मैं ये कहना चाह रही हूँ कि हम समझते हुए भी हम बायसनेस का शिकार हो जाते हैं. हम मानते नहीं है, एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते हैं. एरोगेंस होती है हमारे अंदर.
हाँ होती है. I mean, you can take a lot of examples. Even if a lady is white skin, she could have arrogance. कि मैं beautiful हूँ, मेरा skin white है. It could be on height. It could be on what you own. You might think yourself superior because of that. It's anything that makes you feel superior, isn't it? Right? आपने किसी को रास्ते पे जा रहा है, उसके फटे पुराने कपड़े हैं, आप अपने खुद को बेहतर समझ रहे हैं. That's arrogance, isn't it? एक आदमी आ रहा है, वो अपनी बहुत मर्सिडीज बेंज में आ रहा है, बड़ी आप उसको बहुत अच्छा सलाम करते हैं, दूसरे को नहीं करते. तो you got some kind of arrogance about yourself, about that other person who we don't give respect to as much as we give to them. हमें इस चीज पे जैसे सिस्टर शाजिया कह रही है, we need to open our eyes कि कहाँ पे हम ये फर्क हो रहा है. Sometimes we are being treated badly by somebody, and they are arrogant and look down upon us. तो हमें बैड फील होता है, फिर हम किसी और पे वो निकालते, वो एरोगेंस हम दिखाते. It's very, very easy to be arrogant with children. It's very, very easy to think you know it all. And this is an attitude which we have to develop in ourselves, that we treat them with respect, and we treat them as a spiritual being, not as a little body, not as a mind or an emotion or whatever. We treat them as a spiritual being, and that would show that we don't have any arrogance. So Rasul Pak, peace be upon him, unki hadith, no one will enter paradise in whose heart is a mustard seed of arrogance. So we all, I think, see that it's not Islamic to be arrogant. और जब आप arrogant बनते हैं किसी चीज पे, और फिर उस पे, supposing you feeling superior because you own something, or you live in a good house, तो फिर आपका whole attitude उस पे based है. on your that thinking, आपके actions भी उसी पे based हैं, आपका character वो define कर रहा है, तो then you keep on feeling superior, right? And वो belief को आप strengthen कर लेते हैं, and you become more and more arrogant. Have you seen people get more and more arrogant over time? So वो उसको देखे बगैर, it tends to cause that. Sister, we've got a hand raised. Sister Nawal, yeah.
सवाल
Okay, yeah. Did you want to say something? Yeah.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
जी, please share करें.
ओके अच्छा, इधर मैं सवाल पूछना चाह रही थी कि देखिए हम सब जो इधर मौजूद हैं वो सब के सब सीखने के लिए बैठे हैं, और हम में से ना सब यहाँ यही कहेंगे कि नहीं, हमारे अंदर एरोगेंस बिल्कुल भी नहीं है, क्योंकि हम सीख रहे हैं। ओके, बट मैंने फील किया है कि काफ़ी स्टेजेस में आकर ना हमारी नीयत नहीं होती, लेकिन इनडायरेक्टली हम फील करते हैं कि हम उनसे ऊपर हैं। मैं आपके साथ एक वाकया शेयर करना चाहूँगी। मैं कुछ ग्रुप्स हैं ग्राफिक डिजाइनिंग के, वहाँ एडमिन हूँ, एंड देन मैं एक नई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में गई और वहाँ के एडमिन को जाकर मैंने बोल दिया मैं ग्राफिक डिजाइनिंग के एडमिन हूँ, तो आपकी पॉलिसीज तो कुछ ठीक नहीं है, इसको चेंज करना चाहिए। और उनको वो चीज़ पर्सनल अटैक फील हुई, और मैंने फील किया कि यार ये पर्सनल अटैक था उनके लिए, तो स्टॉप हियर। देन कहते हैं वहाँ मिस्टेक्स थी, लेकिन मैं एज अ एडमिन वहाँ लेकर चल रही थी और मुझे नहीं था पता मैं क्या फील कर रही हूँ, क्या फील नहीं कर रही। और कुछ अरसे बाद अब मैंने चीज़ों को फिगर आउट किया, मैंने मूव बैक किया और मुझे अब अंदाजा हुआ है, हाँ मैं उनको अपने ऊपर रूल नहीं थी करने दे रही, मैं उनकी गाइडलाइंस को नहीं थी मान रही क्यों, क्योंकि मेरे अंदर एक चीज़ आ गई थी, और ये थी कि मैं खुद एक जगह की एडमिन हूँ, मुझे पता है क्या बेटर है क्या बेटर नहीं है, मुझे पता है। लेकिन अब मुझे अंदाजा हुआ नहीं, वो अपनी जगह राइट थी और यहाँ मैं एरोगेंट हो गई हूँ ना चाहते हुए भी। तो इधर मैं सबको ये कहूंगी कि हम सब ना एरोगेंट नहीं होते, ठीक है, लेकिन इनडायरेक्टली हमें पता भी नहीं चलता, हम कहीं ना कहीं हो जाते हैं। लेकिन अब उसके अंदर ये चीज सीखने वाली है कि आपके अंदर इतनी हिम्मत होनी चाहिए, आप उस चीज को एक्सेप्ट करें और एक्सेप्ट करके उसके ऊपर काम करें। मसला ये है कि हम एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते। बस दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम माय साइड।
It's a very good example, Sister Nawal. Well, thank you very much for sharing it. It's very true. Okay, we have to be introspection. हमें मौजूद होना चाहिए. And I think we are developing that, and we are getting more into reflecting on ourselves. So, and the next one we are looking at is victim mentality. ये भी प्रिवेंट करेगा आपकी इम्प्योरिटी आपके सामने जाहिर होने से। क्यों? क्योंकि यू आर सो बिजी ब्लेमिंग समबडी एल्स फॉर व्हाटएवर इज हैपनिंग, राइट? मेरे साथ ये हो गया, मुझे ये कर दिया, इसने मुझे ऐसे ट्रीट किया, मैं तो बेबस हो गई, and you're not orientated towards finding a solution. You're rejecting actually solutions, and it applies again to all roles. Whether it's a mother and child role, you could be a victim. Sometimes children play a very good role of being a victim to get our attention. तो वो भी हमें spot करना चाहिए. They're very clever at that. But in society, we see a lot of that victim mentality. मेरे साथ ये हो गया, वो हो गया. So, difficulties in life are a test of how strong our relationship is with Allah. There's no need for this. Victim mentality has no place in Islam, does it? Rona dhona leke बैठे हैं. Is this right? Do you think it's Islamic to do that? और उसके बिलीफ सिस्टम को क्या होएगा? जिसकी मेंटालिटी ये होगी, वो वैसे ही एक्शन बढ़ाता जाएगा अपनी कंप्लेनिंग और सॉरी स्टोरी बोलने की, उसको ज्यादा सिंपैथी चाहिए, उसको भी बताना है, उसको भी बताना है. And then the belief that I'm a victim gets stronger and stronger, and the less and less they are able to, they are able to actually do something about the situation. Say, is there anything you want to share on that? Are we okay on this second attitude that we should, do we spot it in ourselves? कभी हम victim play कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं? We need to check that, right? Okay, we do that, yes? So इसको इस एटीट्यूड को भी देखना है. तीसरा है कि हम डरते हैं कि कुछ हमें हो जाएगा या कोई हमें जज करेगा, and we are always under this kind of pressure. ये भी एटीट्यूड प्रिवेंट करेगा इम्प्योरिटी को स्टॉप करने, इम्प्योरिटी को स्पॉट करने से, right? You won't be able to see it because you're so fearful of आप इमोशनली और फिजिकली यू फील थ्रेटन्ड, आपको लग रहा है कि मुझे कोई क्रिटिसाइज करेगा, अनसेफ फील कर रहे हैं, तो उस बिलीफ सिस्टम में फंसे हुए हैं या उस फीलिंग में फंसे हुए हैं कि आई माइट सफर और आई माइट फील दिस डेंजर, तो अकॉर्डिंगली आपके एक्शंस है, अकॉर्डिंगली रिजल्ट्स है, और फियर बढ़ता जाता है, बढ़ता जाता है. So worry is, what is worry? Worry is worshipping the problem. Do you agree with that? Right? So ये prevent करेगा, ये चीज हम कर इसलिए रहे हैं देखने के लिए कि हम अपने में वो चीज we are not able to spot that thing if we have this kind of attitude. तो हमने इस attitude को पकड़ना है जब ये आए, right? So that we can see the impurity in ourselves. Yeah? Okay, good. And the fourth one that I put down here was complacency. Give up, satisfied with everything. That again will prevent impurity being spotted. Yeah, क्योंकि आपको आगे बढ़ने की कोई है नहीं. You're so happy with everything, so self-satisfied. So creativity भी नहीं आएगी आपको, जिद्दोजहद ही नहीं होगी कि मैं rise करूं. You're quite happy with the things the way they are. And again, it applies to all the roles. And satisfied hai to everything looks fine to you, no need to change anything. So Rasul Pak, peace be upon him, said the believer is not satisfied with his good deeds until he reaches paradise. And I think most of us हम इस group में ऐसे ही हैं, डर के बैठे हुए हैं कि पहुंचेंगे भी उस will be admitted to paradise या नहीं, इसी डर में हैं. But inshallah, we keep improving ourselves. So we look at these 4 things and we say कि ये 4 चीजें अगर हमारा ये attitude है तो we will not be able to spot, अपने में impurity नहीं spot कर पाएंगे, right? So पहला वाला arrogance में तो you're playing God, you're acting God. In that sense, in the wider sense, using victim mentality, you're using people to gain, right? Fear or vulnerability and judgment, you're worshipping other than Allah Ta'ala, if you're fearing something here. And complacency may thinking everything else stays the same and you're in control of it all, right? So all 4 of these attitudes will prevent you and me from recognizing an impurity in ourselves. So which self has these attitudes? We talked about true self and false self. तो किस self को ये attitude होगा, किस self में होगा? Yeah, okay. All right. So we agree, false self ही में होगा, yeah? False self
Yes.
होगा. So what if you realize there's an impurity? How do we then shut the door? Any idea? How do we shut the door? Realize भी हो गया कि ये भाई मुझे नहीं कर, ये मैं arrogant थी या मैंने victim बन गई थी, तो I shouldn't have done that, it's wrong. लेकिन उसके बाद भी हम दरवाजा of improvement उस impurity को handle करने से हम बंद कर देते हैं. And that why we do it, how we do it, is that the reason is this. अपने को बताते हैं, एक justify कर देते हैं इसको. Justify कर दिया कि ये इसलिए मैंने किया. So and then we lost that chance. वो golden opportunity है to sort out ourselves, to take that impurity away, but we lose it by that justification. So आपके ख्याल में which part of you makes up the justification? कौन सा part है आपका जो justification? Okay, yeah. Or maybe you feel too emotional about it and you go blah, the mind gives you the reason, yeah, and then you go and maybe the triggers is from the emotion, and then you know that you're basically false self control में है उस वक्त, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we go on to looking at now justifications हम कैसे दे रहे हैं. So this is like an exercise आप लोग करेंगे, right? So you have to say Okay, you felt envious. Let's take an example. You felt envious about your neighbor or your sister or relative getting a nice car. You felt envious. Or you felt envious कि उसका बच्चा first आ गया और मेरा बच्चा नहीं आया. You felt envious. This is something. I've been teaching in the school in Pakistan, and all the mothers want their kid to come first. अब भाई सब तो first नहीं आ सकते ना, right? But they just want that. That is the only thing they want. मैं तो बंद कर दिया था से announce करना ये सारा first second. It's just like it's so harmful. And they feel envious. वो कैसे आ गया भाई बच्चे के सामने तुम नहीं आए first, वो आ गया. No, it's like a lot of feeling of envy and jealousy is there. So इस पे आप बताएं हम क्या आपने देखा कि आप envious feel कर रहे हैं, so क्या justifications हम दे सकते हैं? Let's just say what can I justify my envious feeling? क्या बोलेंगे आप? Give me an example. Any examples? इसका कैसे yeah. Yeah, you could say that. Yes, you could say teachers are partial अगर उस चीज को देख रहे हैं, देख सकते हैं. आपको कार आपका उसको आपके नेबर को कार मिली है बड़ी जबरदस्त, आप एनवी फील कर रहे हैं, आप क्या बोलेंगे? We deserved it. Yes, right? So the minute you said that, where did the the impurity go? आपने recognize भी कर लिया कि मैं envious हूँ, लेकिन उसको पकड़ा नहीं. So let's look at what kind of things we could tell ourselves. It could be like, oh, they don't deserve it. They got lucky. Right? Or if I had their opportunities, I would have too. It's not fair. I work just as hard as they do. अभी ये कोई भी रीजनिंग आपने अपने खुद को दे दी तो वो इम्प्योरिटी जो थी वो बढ़ गई आप में. Do you agree?
सही.
Okay, good. Does that make sense? Next वाले पे जाओ. Okay. So now we look at this one. Losing patience with a child and yelling at them. So impurity आपने spot कर लिया कि मुझे नहीं yell करना चाहिए. So फिर लेकिन उसको justify कैसे करेंगे? ये तो हम सबके पास होंगे. Justifications तो I think we can all give ourselves. क्या देंगे आप? Anybody sharing? क्या justification दे दिए जब आपने lose किया patience and you started yelling at your kid? Yeah, okay. Yeah, kid is stubborn. My blood pressure is went up because we really made our mind that we should. Yeah, when I was tired, I can't control myself. Okay, if we don't yell, they will not. Yeah, to Zabardast. Zabardast. We're very good at this. A lot of practice, right? Yeah, so we could say, okay, हमने उनको डांटा because they are being annoying and disrespectful, unstressed and tired, जैसे आपने बोला, and they're not helping. They're being a nuisance. Sometimes you just have to let them know who's boss. That's why I yelled at them, right? So again, you close the door on that impurity of yelling. So we are saying कि उसको ये justification जब खुद को देना शुरू करें तो please spot it कि ये आप कर रहे हैं and you're losing an opportunity to grow spiritually. So you find yourself gossiping about a friend or family member. तो आपने spot कर लिया है, अब इसको justify कैसे कर सकते हैं? करते हैं ना हम कभी, we gossip a little bit when we shouldn't. So how will you justify it? I was just telling the truth. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, I was just saying what was right. I was just saying it right. Okay. It's important to save others. Yes, that could be a justification on it. So let's look at this. Okay, so you could say, I'm stating facts. Yes, you're right, Sister Joya. So you could say everyone else is doing it. थोड़ी बहुत तो होनी चाहिए, कोई बात नहीं. It's all harmless fun. What's the point? There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just venting to a friend. इस तरह भी justify कर सकते हैं, right? So again, don't lose the opportunity to actually think कि हाँ ये मैंने गलत किया है, and I can move towards success by removing that impurity. And we'll go over how to do that. So now we come to this one, feeling resentment towards a spouse for spending time with his or her family. And you think that he should not be doing it. Number of times मैंने उनको बोला है, he continues to do this, I'm fed up of this. So आपने spot किया कि आप ये चीजें सोच रहे हैं. You haven't actually done anything, but it's going on in your head, this kind of thing, and the emotion is there. So, and then what, कैसे उसको आप justify करेंगे? What would you do then? क्या justification हो सकती है? Any ideas? ये नहीं होता, ये impurity नहीं है. Okay, I sacrifice most of my time for him. Yes, they will put bad thoughts in him. I didn't get it. You didn't get it, Sana. Sana, okay, I mean, you just feel, you feel that your spouse is spending too much time with his family, right? And you feel resentful about it. And you're sort of inside up, you're thinking negatively about things and fed up of what his attitude is. And more important, yes, that could be it. He should have more time for me. Yeah. So those would be the things, and these हम क्यों इनको देख रहे हैं ताकि हम spot कर सके अपने में कि हम ये कर रहे हैं, justify कर रहे हैं. And as you said, they don't spend enough time with me. They're always prioritizing his or her family over ours. I feel neglected and unimportant. It's my right to have their time. So some other justifications. So we spot them in how they are. And then complaining about life's challenges. This could be there. So इस पे भी हम complaining में क्या है? What are we saying? What is difference between complaining and telling? What is it? What's the difference? So complaining में you're actually focusing more on negativity and dissatisfaction. Involves blaming others, right? And negative atmosphere पैदा होता है complaining में. Problem solving hinder कर रहे हैं आप, right? Basically, it's venting your frustration rather than effectively, constructively discussing something to find a solution, right? तो complaining को भी watch करना है हमने. ये भी we can sort of not benefit from seeing कि हम complain कर रहे हैं, क्यों complain कर रहे हैं, इसके पीछे क्या है, right? So what kind of justifications we could give? Everyone complains sometimes. I'm just expressing my feelings. I have a right to do that. If I don't complain, no one will know how hard I have it. ये भी कह सकते हैं ना, right? Yeah, it's right, Sana. जो आपने बोला, it's correct, right? So we move on to the next one. Worrying excessively about the future. Is that an impurity? No? Yes, it's an impurity, right? So आपने spot कर लिया, उसको justify कैसे कर सकते हैं? तब वो दो शट हो जाएगा जब आप करेंगे, right? So what kind of justifications इंसान देता है जो worry? A lot of people worry so much, don't they? Right? So that too has to be spotted. आप कितनी worry कर रहे हैं, उसका क्या output worry का क्या होता है? There's no output on it, And you could justify it's better to be prepared for the worst. If I do not worry, who will? Yeah, that's true. Sister Fana is saying, if I don't worry, then how will it be fixed? Sister Shazia is saying, it's important. How can't I? Yes, I'm just realistic. Worry helps bring solutions. Worrying helps me stay focused and motivated. I'm being responsible.
Yeah.
It's again, the justification, what we need to be doing is not worry. It's a person who has Iman is strong, with Allah Ta'ala. There's no need to worry about things. So we move on to the next one. Yeah, you could say that on the worry thing. If I'm heartless if I don't worry. Yeah, true. Okay, so we move on to the next one. Feeling proud of one's achievements. दिल में बहुत खुश हो रही, ये हो गया, मैंने कर दिया. Focus on me, look at me, better than others. ये ख्याल आ रहे हैं. Impurity है कि नहीं है? है कि नहीं है? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Impurity is there, right? So how can we justify it? How can we justify that? Okay, good. Of course I worked hard, I deserve it, I earned it. Yes, true. So I worked hard for this. I should feel proud. Others should recognize me. I deserve to feel good about myself. I'm better than others. It's important to recognize your accomplishment. This is my moment, this one, right? I can't let it go. So again, if you have that spotted ke bhai, ye kya hua mujhe, why do I feel like this? And Allah Ta'ala ki deen hai. Allah Ta'ala gives us, any win that we have, any chai, Allah Ta'ala ki rahmat hai ki hame milta hai. So it's a chance to actually spot ke mujh mein ye aaya hai, and we'll go over how you remove it from yourself. So this one, judging others based on their appearance and behavior. ये 3 लोग यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं. ये बंदा जा रहा है, and they're looking at him, say he's a bad guy. Judgment pass कर ली और ये सोच रहा है, right? This one sorting. तो judging based on appearances और किसी का behavior, थोड़ी सी मुलाकात हुई, आपने judgment बना ली इस बंदे के बारे में. ये कैसा है, अच्छा है, बुरा है, इससे दोस्ती होनी चाहिए, मेरे बच्चों को इससे मिलना चाहिए, नहीं मिलना चाहिए, ये तो खराब आदमी है, डिसऑनेस्ट है, इसके तो कपड़े ऐसे हैं, तो ये कैसे सही हो सकता है. एनीवे, व्हाटएवर, so how would you justify judging somebody based on their appearance and behavior? आप जज करते हैं, करना सही है, जज करना सही है किसी को. Can I say I can judge somebody to be like this? Can I? मैं तो उनकी नियत को नहीं जानती. मैं तो नहीं जानती, अल्लाह ताला ही जानते हैं, right? So judgment is not something for me and you to do, but we judge so much, and we can justify it. How would we justify judging? We do that for even our children. इसके साथ नहीं मिलो, ये बच्चा सही नहीं है. We judge. And then they learn to do it as well, because we are doing it. We are telling them, कि judge नहीं किया करो, लेकिन our actions are not showing that. When we judge their friends or somebody they meet and they like, and ये सही नहीं है तुम्हारे लिए, right? So how can we actually see that? Where did I go? Sorry. So you can judge a book by its cover. You could just say it like that, as a justification. I have a special gift of spotting personalities. It's just human nature to make judgments. It helps to predict human behavior. I'm just protecting myself from negative people by judging them. Yeah, and there are a number of examples you are there. Yes, they are right. Sometimes what we see, not really know, we don't know the reality. We're always correct at judging. We could give that as a justification. Yes. So you see the point of this area, and I think this is the last one on it. Is it feeling anger towards someone for work not done? आपको गुस्सा आ रहा है इसके ऊपर कि इसने काम ही नहीं किया जो बोला था. वो आपकी, it could be a मासी, or it could be somebody who works for you, or even in the family member, बोला अपने family member को उन्होंने नहीं किया, तो आपको गुस्सा आया. तो how would you justify that? How would you justify your anger? Anger को justify किया. That's the only way to get work done, right? That you have to be the boss and they have to be harsh. There's no other way. And they are so careless. Okay, yeah, you could say they're so careless, right? They are lazy and irresponsible. I'm doing all the work and they're not pulling their weight. They don't respect me all my time, always creating trouble. तो justify कर लिया आपने गुस्से को, अपने गुस्से को आपने justify कर लिया. And once you've done that, you've lost the opportunity to actually handle the source of आपको गुस्सा क्यों आया. So we were talking about कि हम justify कर लेते हैं तो फिर हम अपनी impurity को handle नहीं कर पाते, और a whole life is about handling those impurities. And we looked at, हमारी attitudes क्या सही होने चाहिए, and then in this session we looked at these कि इन चारों से हम spot करें when we are doing this, as it prevents us finding out about our impurity. And if we go into the other side of justification, so we actually lose the opportunity of handling that impurity if we justify it. Oh, दरवाजा बंद हो जाता है, right? So this is how what we've covered in this session. How do you begin this journey is about अपने attitudes को आपने देखना है. How do you open this shut door, and why does the door that we open close so suddenly? So self-awareness is done every day. You remember what is success, purify करना है, and जब हम नहीं कर रहे, so we are really staying as a corrupted individual. So self-awareness, emotional check करना है, thought patterns को check करना है, action को check करना है, जो हमारा last time का homework था, right? And you check your attitudes कि ये तो नहीं है कहीं. And watch for my justification, watch for my attitude, watch for my justification. And then you keep the, purify your notebook में आप रखें उन चीजों को and watch it, and inshallah, all of us will get more and more pure and be able to help each other. Does that make sense? Yes. So any questions on this session? I think, we wind up over there, and, next session ka survey form hai, Sister Shazia.
Yeah, Sister Shazia had to step out for some time, but let me see if I can put it in. Yeah, Sister Sana has asked me, what do you mean by complacency? So isko explain kare.
Complacency is when you're just self-satisfied the way things are. You're just satisfied. It doesn't bother you. Whatever it is, आप खुश हैं उसके साथ. तो वो भी आपकी improvement को तो नहीं लाएगा, right? It won't bring improvement in you because you're so satisfied with everything, right? आप अपनी life से you're contented with that. Is that okay? Does that answer the question?
Yeah, बिल्कुल अपनी जो potential है वो potential, we're not looking at trying to get there, right? जो भी जैसा भी हो रहा है, जिस वजह से भी हो रहा है, we are okay with that, right? Yeah. Okay.
So, Sister Sana, do you get that कि आप में इतना potential है, it's so unrecognized. अल्लाह ताला ने इतना potential इंसान को दिया है कि फरिश्तों को भी कहा कि इसके सामने झुको, right? So where is that potential? आप self-satisfied हो ही नहीं सकते. We are so far off from it. So वो contentment नहीं आ सकती. अगर है तो it's wrong. It's just being too proud about it and about your state. The idea should be that one should want to improve whatever your state is, because we are so far off the mark, right?
Yeah.
Stefana, survey form मैं देखूं?
अगर है तो आप कहते हैं Shazia had to step out for 15 minutes. मैंने text किया उनको.
Okay, see if I can get it.
Yeah. बिल्कुल Sana. Yeah, we are very selfish, and again we don't want to work hard, but we don't want to अपने potential की तरफ, we're not progressing towards that, but we assume कि we are the best, the old arrogant सारी and actually ये शैतान के सारे tactics होते हैं basically, सारे हमने जो discuss किए हैं, and उसका तो goal यही है कि हम जितना नीचे रहें उतना अच्छा है उसके लिए तो. So that's kind of how he wins through all these whispers and all these thoughts coming in the mind. Yeah. So please survey form fill करें. Yeah, that's already is in the It's in the chat. It'll just take a few minutes for you to fill. It's very helpful for us. It's very valuable कि आप ये fill करें. And because हमें पता चलता है कि what are the areas where we need to do more presentations या जहाँ पे ज़्यादा time spend करनी होती है. So we actually use this in developing our sessions. So please आप इसको fill करें. And we like any other particular topics which you would like to learn more, any topics, any concepts which you want more clarity on, a deeper content on, please आप इसमें भरें. So yeah, so we'll take a couple of minutes for that.
Any other questions? किसी और को questions हैं तो please पूछें. Our next session is about navigating the impurity towards its root cause. And इसके लिए मुझे तो आपका survey form चाहिए, because I will structure the talk based on how you answer the questions, right? 2 हैं उसमें questions. It just helps me to see कि आपका thought pattern क्या है, so then I know how to address it. So please do fill in the survey form if you can. और कोई questions है तो please पूछें. Thank you. Thank you, sisters. Any questions, please पूछें. Otherwise, thank you so much for attending. Please homework कर लें. ये छोटा notebook जो है, it does need to be filled in, spotted. Sister Shazia, आप थोड़ा बोलेंगे इस पे, why is it important? Sister Fana, आप भी, why is it important to monitor yourself? Is it going to automatically, are we going to automatically get there?
No, subhanallah. Actually, my reason for actually doing this reflection was, when there was a lot of trauma and suffering and pain going on. Actually, this will liberate you from, unnecessary suffering and pain. That is the biggest motivation, for myself and for you. And that's like a personal benefit. And then it will make the world a better place, your own family, and then by extension your society, and inshallah got to get this world better, in good and for evil. So the benefits start from the personal level to all the way, the sky is not the limit. So yeah, I think that's kind of what the motivation for doing this. It'll save you a lot of pain. I'm a witness to that benefit.
Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala ne raah di hai. It's like so hard otherwise. We are making our life hard by not following this path. Allah Ta'ala has mentioned it so many times in the Quran, and we haven't understood it to be something we apply. Application ke bagair nahi hoega. So I think Allah Ta'ala ki rahmat hai कि there's a way to live life at peace, in tranquility. वो struggle नहीं होनी चाहिए, and you are a source of light for everybody. You become a source of light for others. तो ये हमारी कोशिश होनी चाहिए through our group.
Yeah, absolutely.
जी मैम ये शेयर करना चाह रही थी मैं अब जो आप पूछ रहे हैं ना कि कितना जरूरी है, I'm so sorry, इसको इग्नोर कीजिएगा प्लीज.
That's okay. It's okay.
ये अपने अंदर गौर करना, जैसे आपने कहा कि अल्लाह ताला बार-बार कुरान में मेंशन करते हैं कि अपने आप पे गौर करो, तो ये कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है. मैं जब हम अपने अंदर देखते हैं ना तो समझ आती है. वैसे तो हर बंदा ही सेटिस्फाइड होता है ना अपनी लाइफ से, मासवा दूसरों के ऊपर हमें गिले और शिकवे के अलावा हम अपने आप से, अपनी जात से सेटिस्फाइड होते हैं. क्योंकि हम उन चीज़ों को जो भी हमने अपने बिलीफ सिस्टम बना लिए होते हैं ना, उनको जस्टिफाई किए हुए होते हैं। तो लेकिन जब आप एक क्रिटिकल की नज़र से देखें ना अपने आप को, तो फिर समझ आती है कि हम कहाँ कहाँ गलत हैं। और ये अपने अंदर से गलतियां ढूंढना बहुत मुश्किल काम है। मुझे तो एक्सपीरियंस हो रहा है। तो ये ढूंढ लें और फिर उसके बाद उसको ठीक करें। वो बाद वाला काम इजी हो जाता है, ढूंढना सबसे मुश्किल लगता है मुझे तो। बस मैं तो इसी पे काम कर रही हूँ अपने ऊपर। इंशाल्लाह अल्लाह ताला हमारे लिए आसानियां करे। और इससे फर्क क्या पड़ता है कि बच्चे भी वैसे, हम अपने बच्चों को भी टीच कर सकते हैं ना कि कैसे अपने आप को अपनी गलती खुद से पहचान सकना बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, वरना तो हम बस अपने आप को जस्टिफाई करते रहते हैं।
Yeah, and trust me, you'll lead a very rich life, emotionally very rich, like fulfilling life. We will live once we get to that level. अपने जब fix our issues and हमारे self confidence भी बढ़ जाती है, हमारी self esteem भी बढ़ जाती है, we feel lighter, we feel better. I mean, subhanallah, benefits अपने लिए and for sure for people around you. It really transforms. Yeah.
I just I'm going to stop the recording, and I just want to ask